Welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can run X11/Xorg applications from Beehive VM guests on your host. So applications, programs will execute inside of guests and servers will be there. X11 service will run there. However, presentation, X11 clients will be shown on the host. Why is this important? It's important because you can run in one place your app and completely show it another place. So over the network, you can run it in virtual machine and show it on the host. There are some reasons. One of the reasons might be that you need to run some other operating system application on inside of the guest, the VM guest, virtual machine guest, and then just show the window of that application on the host. Another thing might be the convenience. Maybe you want to run the software that's not supported in your machine, but it's supported somewhere else and it's well supported there. And we'll see how that runs. I'll basically test the FreeBSD and Chromium. I'll open them in Alpine, Arch, Linux, FreeBSD 12.2 and 13.0 current, and show them, actually present them inside of my FreeBSD 13.0 current host machine. So let's start. In order to do that, I'll base the whole solution on SSH and X11 forwarding. So let's see, make sure you're root, as I always say, VM list. I have 4 virtual machines. I'll start all of them and I'll connect to each one of them, and I'll take from each one of them, I'll SSH into each one of them and change SSHD config file to allow X11 forwarding. Why we need X11 forwarding inside of these guests? Because when I SSH inside of the guest, I'll run application there, but I only show it here in the host. So it'll be fully running there, but just showing on the host. And I need to know the IP address behind. All right, let's start Alpine. Let's start Arch. Let's manually start FreeBSD 12.2 and 13-2-0 VM list. They're all running. Let's wait. I'll give them 60 seconds to run all. That's enough time to come to to a login screen inside of them and start every service inside. As they do that, I can show you system monitor running, showing how resources are utilized. So it's pretty low resources. They all consumed around 6.3 gigabyte memory, which is really nice. Okay. And here you can see Beehive actually running in the background. This is awesome. All right, let's assume that all machines started. Let's see info. Okay, this is great. It appears that everything is running fine. That's good. So first things first, let's first connect to, and I'll make a small, as I do this, I will update vim etc hosts VM console, and then go to Alpine. Actually, let's do it here. Sudo VM console Alpine. Connected. Let's log in. mtasic. I made a mistake. Let's see. What's the IP address? It's this one. Copy. And say here Alpine. Actually, it first goes IP, then hostname. Alpine. Great. Next thing. Close this terminal. Open another one. And say sudo VM console arch. I'll just do one more thing. I'll actually append beehive like this. Alpine beehive. Okay. Login. Ooh. And someone actually reported this issue, and I told them reboot computer because I saw that happening before. So let's say VM power off arch, yes. VM start arch, and then so VM console arch. All right, let's go to a next one. Sudo VM console FreeBSD 12.2 2.2 connected. Login and mtasic. Config. So IP address is this one, and that's FreeBSD 12.2 beehive. Okay. Let's close this one, and let's go to sudo VM console, and let's go to a FreeBSD 13.0. So here address is this one, FreeBSD 13.0 beehive. So what now? For some reason, Arch is misbehaving. Sudo so VM list VM stop Arch. It stopped. VM start F arch in foreground. Now it works. That was interesting. Okay, let's login as Apptastic. Let's do IP address. And IP address we got is this one. So I'll use that address, vim etc hosts, paste, and this will be arch.beehive. Okay, now let's great. I'll just close it. And I'll keep this window running here. Let's enlarge this one. So I can say SSH Apptastic at, and let's go to, oh, let's do this. Let's go to this one. Yes. Yes, great. And say vim etc sshd config find x11 and then switch no to yes. Exit and save, and let's just reboot the system. Right, but before I do that, I'll say add xorg server and Firefox. Let's search, scroll, Chromium. Oh. Vim etc repositories, and here we need to, let's actually use everything on Edge. So I want to use the Edge versions of everything. APK update, and I'll say search Chromium. All right, so I can say APK add xorg server, Chromium, and Firefox. That's all I need. So this is actually happening. This is installing in Alpine Linux. I connected over the SSH instead of using VM console. After this, I'll reboot Alpine Linux virtual machine, and just to test out if everything's fine. All right, let's do reboot. SSH dropped, of course. Now Alpine is rebooting. All right, let's again SSH. Right, excellent. So now on host machine, what I need to do, I'll need xhost, to use xhost. Let's see if that's installed. Xhost control enable, only authorized user can connect, and I'll say, and then I'll say IP address of Alpine. Add it to control list. Let's also add, all right, let's for now do that. And now what I'll do, when I connect, I'll exit SSH. When I also X. So this means I want actually X forwarding to happen from the client, from the server in this case, which is our guest, to a client SSH. This is from the host where we try to connect to a Beehive virtual machine. So let's see what it says. All right, xhost does not exist. All right, so it should be fine now. Let's Firefox. I'm trying to open and it worked, you see? So this Firefox is actually running inside of Alpine. And its version is the one, let's see, about Firefox. 83, it's close. All right, I can show you one more trick. So I can do SSH Alpine behave -x and say run Firefox. So it will automatically, when it's SSH inside that guest, VM guest, it will run the Firefox, and I see Firefox here. So this is the way to run X11, Xorg, X applications on inside of the guests, but show them on the host. So this is actually running inside of virtual machine, but just being shown here. Let's move on. Let's now SSH into Arch Beehive. Yes. Great. See if sudo is working. I don't know if I set up sudo. I did actually. That's good. So I can say sudo pacman install the following thing: xorg server, Firefox, and oh, I don't know if it's called Chromium or Chrome browser, whatever. Oh, it's just Chromium. Excellent. So sudo pacman s xorg server, Firefox, and Chromium. Default. Again, I SSH into Arch Beehive guest virtual machine, and I'm installing right now xorg server, Firefox, and Chromium browser. So now let's edit etc ssh sshd config. Let's look for X11, uncomment this line, and just say yes. That's all. And I'll do reboot. So you need to install xout in order, xorg-xout in order to get it working. Chromium works. Let's SSH to Mtesic. We are moving to FreeBSD. Yes. Password. Pkg install sudo. Yes. V user local etc sudo ers. Pkg install xorg and Firefox and Chromium browser. I think that's the right name. And also let's install Vim. It's just Chromium. All right. So we're installing the xorg server, Firefox, and Chromium. Let's hope that Okay. Packages search X out. We need to install this one. It's installed. Now let's do vim etc sshd config, look for X11, forwarding yes, use local, called Chrome. Huh. All right, so forwarding X11 forwarding works also in FreeBSD 12.2. Now we are going to SSH and DESIC at FreeBSD 13.0 behave. Yes. All right, so sudo update pg install xorg xout Firefox Chromium and vim. Yes, let's now configure. Let's make sure sudo is also installed. It's not. Vim user local etc sudo ers. All right, see now vim etc sshd conf X11. So a couple of things. First thing, this should be yes, and this should be yes. Save, and I'll just save the pane and reboot the computer. Wait 30 to 60 seconds to reconnect again. This time with -x. And -x is missing, so I need to SSH again, -x. Let's try now Firefox. This one is not working, but if say no remote, it's working. Great. So we have all four VM lists, all four VM guests running X11 applications, but they're only shown here on my host. And what I'll do right now, there is one more step. For convenience, I don't want to type any more passwords, so I want to generate key again, just SSH key. Type RSA bits 486 and name will be this one. SSH add and now I'll say copy. Copied. Next one. SSH copy ID to mdesic at arch beehive. Copied. SSH copy ID mdesic at FreeBSD. copied, and SSH copy ID and TASIC at FreeBSD13 beehive. Copied. So next time, and this is that next time, SSH, I do nTASIC at Alpine beehive, and I say X Firefox no remote. I'll get the Firefox Alpine on and it says on Alpine. So let's do the following thing. I'll run this Firefox. I'll run, let's local Firefox. This one is, as you can see, I already logged in there. That's nTASIC 85. Then I'll run the Firefox on Alpine. Great. I'll run Firefox on Arch. And it says it's on Arch. I'll run Firefox on FreeBSD 12.2, and it says on FreeBSD 12.2 uses default, right? And I'll run on 13.0. So I have right now, I should have 5 Firefoxes running. 1 running here and 4 running on different, so this one FreeBSD 13.0, different VMs on Arch, on FreeBSD 12.2, and on Alpine. So that was it. I demonstrated how you can run remote applications and show them locally, X11 applications, X applications, Xorg as you want. Thank you so much for watching this series, and see you in one of my next videos. Goodbye.